Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the Music Dungeon with me, Mac Plays Banjo. This is the first episode of a super special series I'm going to call What Makes This Player So Good, where we go and look at a specific banjo player and I try and dissect what about their playing makes them such a phenomenal player. Today we have Scott Vestal, who in my opinion is one of the most underrated banjo players of all time because he's phenomenally good, but I don't really hear him get talked about that much, and I think that's because he doesn't have much media presence. For example, there aren't that many videos of him on YouTube. I don't think he has an Instagram account or anything, and his albums are kind of, I don't know, they look kind of generic. They're not marketed very well, and so I don't think they got as much spread as they should have because they're all phenomenal albums, and I recommend you go listen to all of them, especially Bluegrass 96. That's my personal favorite. But we're going to watch some videos of Scott Vestal on YouTube here. We'll watch this one, maybe this one. And I'm going to go through and offer some expert analysis. And by the way, in one of my last videos, people got really mad that I said I was going to offer expert analysis. This is called a joke. I don't know if you're familiar with the concept, but no, I'm joking. Look, I'm not an absolute world expert in the banjo, right? But I have spent probably thousands of hours researching and thousands more practicing it. So I do have some sense of expertise, right? So I can watch a player and tell you what is good and what is bad, right? I obviously don't know as much about it as a true world expert would, right? Not yet anyways. But I do know enough to where I can probably pick up something that you might have missed and then we can both learn from that, right? So that's all I'm trying to say. But at the end of the day, this is entertainment with a little bit of learning thrown in, and I do want to learn from Scott Vestal because he's amazing, and you can also learn from Scott Vestal. I don't care who you are, you can also learn some things about banjo playing from Scott Vestal. So anyways, let's dive right in and we will try and figure out what makes Scott Vestal so great. This is a video from 81 Crow. Great banjo YouTuber, highly recommend his channel. Actually, he commented on one of my videos the other day, so dude, if you're watching this, I'm a huge fan of your channel. I love these videos. Okay, first solo down. Let's think about this for a second. So, Scott just played pretty much the main melody note for note off the record, right? Which is a really awesome thing to do if you're taking the lead break, because then the melody gets in people's heads. They understand what you're improvising off of. A lot of times it is really good practice to play the melody strongly in the first break, and then you can improvise off of it in the later breaks, because then it just gives your audience something to ground to, right? So let's listen to that first break again, keeping in mind that he's playing the melody. What I was paying attention to was, first off, his playing is so clean you can eat off of it. There's not a single flub note. I don't think. There might have been, but I didn't catch any on the first watch through. Second off, his drive and timing is impeccable, and overall this is just a clearly masterful performance of it. Watch this again. Something with the cleanliness aspect that I think Scott does a really good job with is what J.D. Crowe used to call separation of notes. I think it was J.D. Crowe anyway. I could be imagining that, but I'm pretty sure it was him. And what that is you're playing so cleanly that you can hear every single note, and it sounds like there's a lot of space between the notes, even when you're playing it fast. It's kind of hard to describe other than that, but if you keep that concept in mind, you'll probably hear it in Scott's playing, because he has very good separation of notes and just overall great clean playing. Another thing that stands out to me in Scott Vestal's playing is how well he blends the three styles of banjo, kind of like Noam Pikelny. It's almost like he's proto Noam Pikelny, because he really goes between melodic single string and scrug stuff effortlessly and in ways that really make musical sense. Like if you watch that break, there were some great single string runs, some melodic runs, a lot of scrug stuff. He was really blending them in together. And I think that's mainly how he innovated on the instrument, was by blending the styles and coming up with cool, unique, new things. There's kind of two types of innovators on instruments. I think they're innovators who like completely change the way you play the instrument, and then they're innovators who in a more subtle way kind of refine it and come up with their new ideas within the idioms that other players have done. For example, Earl Scruggs he didn't come up with the three-finger style of playing, but he really codified a method where it was possible to play all sorts of new music with it, right? And that pretty much fundamentally changed how people have played banjo ever since. It's like changed the way that anyone would even pick up a banjo, right? Then there was J.D. Crowe, who arguably had a comparable amount of innovation, but it was all within Scruggs style. So J.D. Crowe didn't fundamentally change the instrument the way Earl did, but he added so much of his own stuff within that idiom that Scruggs, maybe didn't invent, but popularized. And I think Scott Vestal is definitely more like J.D. Crowe, where he had these three great examples of styles: Scruggs style, melodic, and single string, right? And I think a lot of his innovation was in combining those and adding in other influences from other music to create his own cool new sound. So anyways, let's keep watching. A lot to learn just from that first break though. Oh, it's Dan T.
Yeah, trying to get whatever you want to play.
That was another really cool break. I think that was pretty close to what he played on the record. But again, everything that I said before was very evident in that. Super clean, great timing, interesting melding of the three styles. But yeah, overall, he's just a fantastic player, super well-rounded, very good. That was so cool. Scott Vestal's innovation really made inroads in all three styles of playing. He created new, unique stuff with single string, melodic, and Scruggs style, and then melded them all together effortlessly. At least it looks effortless when he's playing. Obviously, he practiced a lot to get where he was. But yeah, overall, what can we learn from this? Well, first off, we can take inspiration to play cleaner with more separation of notes. I definitely do, because my playing is not that clean. I don't have separation of notes that good, right? I didn't see him flub a single note the entire video here. It was amazing. And the drive was incredible. He really locked in with the groove and was really supporting it when he was backing up. I think I couldn't really hear his backup because this video was just recorded on a phone, right? So you can't hear all the parts that well. But I know that his backup is really good from all of the records of his I've listened to. And I highly recommend you go listen to all those records if you are a banjo player, because so much stuff on them you can learn from. It's amazing. Just great bluegrass music and super, super underrated. Like, I think Scott Vestal's playing is just criminally underrated. I learned several of those breaks back in my youth. my banjo youth anyway, and they really influenced my playing with how to meld single string melodic and Scruggs style ideas, which I'm still working on today. So yeah, overall, he's just a fantastic player, super, super high level, and so much to learn from. I think that's all I'm going to do for today, but if there are any other Scott Vestal videos that you think are really good and might want me to see, please leave them in the comments and I'll definitely check them out. If you liked this video, go check out all the other ones on my channel. They're pretty similar to this. But until then, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.